At long last, Bob Njagi and Nicholas Oyoo, the two Kenyan human rights activists who had crossed to Uganda to join Bobi Wine in his campaign trail, have been released by the Ugandan abductors. The two actually were released last night at the Busia border, accompanied by Kenyan officials from the Ugandan embassy, and their release has been welcomed by Kenyans who had feared that maybe they were tortured and dead, because there were rumors before that these two human rights activists had been killed, or rather had been were dead due to torture by their abductors. So yesterday it was confirmed by the government of Kenya that these two human rights activists were on the Kenyan-Ugandan border, and that they were being cleared, which has been confirmed by a number of organizations like the Vocal Africa, the Kenya Law Society of Kenya through their president, Madam Faith Odhiambo, and even Amnesty International. So this is a very happy moment for Kenyans, especially those who had been following the story of these two. So these two guys left Kenya on 29th October to join Bobi Wine in his presidential campaigns in Uganda. And witnesses reported that they were seen at a petrol station. And there are also some videos that surfaced online indicating that the last time they were seen addressing crowds in some areas in Uganda was on 31st, and that is where these two guys disappeared, no communication, and later it was established that they were in the hands of Ugandan authorities, who had abducted them and were not willing to release them. Imagine over 38 days, a month plus in detention, and you don't know who these people are. Your family members have no information about your whereabouts. But at long last, we can say that God was with them. And you know, somebody like Bobi Njagi, this is not the first time he got abducted. Remember, during the Gen Z demonstration, Bob Njagi was one of the people who were abducted. The release comes just a few days after the government of Kenya, through the Foreign Affairs Ministry headed by Musalia Mudavadi, making diplomatic arrangements for their release. And it's been quite a very long time since these guys were abducted. So Kenyans have been pushing, had been pushing the Kenyan government to follow up their release, which I believe the government of President William Ruto did as much as it could in order to bring them back home, though it has taken long, but we can say we are thankful to God as Kenyans and that they are back. You know, a place like Uganda is such a place that when you get arrested or abducted, just like it happened to Oyoo and Njagi, the possibility of you coming back alive is not easy, because it was purported that these guys were in the hands of the Ugandan military. So that one actually brought a lot of fear among Kenyans who believe that these guys were not going to survive it. Because we have seen what has been happening in Uganda, recently the opposition, especially those who are very close to Bobby Wine, they are being brutally dealt with. They are being beaten up. There are those who have been who are reported missing. There are those who are found dead, and therefore that was one of the things that I mean. Those were some of the things that rang in people's minds. Many people thought that these guys were not going to be found alive. So you see right now, there are two countries in East Africa who have become uh, enemies of democracy. That is Uganda and Tanzania. And I think this is a lesson to many human rights activists that before they cross over to Uganda or Tanzania, they really need to scan scan the situation there, because those are countries that have decided that they are not going to tolerate anybody who is against what they are up to, and especially the human rights activists. You saw what happened in Tanzania recently. The opposition, almost all members of the opposition were put in jail ahead of the just concluded general elections. And it is also reported that in Tanzania, there are many dissenters who are in prison. They have not been charged with any. They have not been charged of committing any crimes, but they are being held up by Tanzanian authorities against their will, just because they stand against, or they criticize the government. And it's the same thing that is happening in Uganda. Many dissenters are dealt with brutality. So because of that, I think that it's quite volatile to cross over to Uganda and Tanzania in anything that is related to politics.